My name is Rajiv Sood. I'm a channel manager here for NICE and support Ed and the Claris team. And I also have Sarah Lindo Laval, who is my enablement peer, and she handles all things partner enablement, trainings like we're going to do today, sales certifications, partner portal access, and the list goes on and on and on. But what we're going to do today is we are going to share with you how, or really things about going on in CCAS and contact center. And we're not going to do anything nice. This is not nice products, no nice commercials, maybe just a mini one. But essentially, we're going to make 4 pit stops on this journey. We're going to talk about CX trends, so trends going on in contact center. We're going to talk about AI in the contact center and the digital journey. We'll share with you a couple of case studies, one large and one small, and then talk about some buyer personas and a couple of questions to ask that you guys can put in your arsenal. And then if we have time, we'll round out with a couple of short videos. This time is for you guys, so please keep this interactive. We love questions. We love comments. If we want to pause and double down on a couple of thoughts, definitely love the interaction. So with that, Sarah, I will pass the baton to you.
Right on. Well, thank you so much, Rajiv. Again, yes, we're grateful for the opportunity that we have to kind of talk through and share really some insights around CX, right? Around understanding why that's such a big factor and importance, right? Looking at from your guys' team point of view is we're going to touch on things that we think matter the most and how you decide what's the right CX and being that advisor for a customer. I'll give you a little bit of my background because it helps kind of understand why I have all these whack stories and crazy stuff going on. But I come from contact center world. I've only been on this side of the house of technology side for 3 years. I was actually recruited to this side of the house because I was one of those ones that was in the deal, sitting there being the one that was dying on my sword, making it hard for the sales guy to complete the deal with us. I was the blocker, but we were able to kind of understand from that point of view how to really get kind of information in the right form, in the right format to where I understood best. And then they recruited me. So, hey, it's a good win all, but I was also on that side of the house thinking, I didn't know that all this technology was right here for us to take advantage of all this time. So hopefully you can see my screen and we can tap into it and talk a little bit about it. But we're going to start off with a statistic. And the reason why is because we're going to paint the picture. What's the problem? How deep is this problem for us to understand within the CX journey world, and why does it matter? So this percentage comes from a Gartner specific analytic review. 60% of customers who abandon a brand do so because of poor customer service. So 6.5 out of 10, 6.5, that's a half person sitting there somewhere, out of 10 people decide that bad customer service means that they will no longer use that brand again. And that's tough because that's a very high number. That percentage is a huge amount of people that stop or don't even think about doing business with you just because the experience is bad. And on top of that, Forrester listed a report that said that companies or customers, after 3 failed interactions, give up. They don't want to move forward anymore. They don't think that it's important or the process is too deep or too hard to understand. So it comes down to this. In today's world right now, the customer experience isn't just a part of it. It's not just a section that's taken care of for the brand. It needs and is the business because it has so much ripple effects that if it's not right, then across the board, it does not help. So we're gonna look at it from that point of view. That's the initial understanding of the problem. That's kind of where we sit, what we know is happening, and then we're at the perspective that we need to have. That customer service and the experience that it brings factors into absolutely everything for the business. It is it. And the one big question I'm only going to say that this comes straight out of Mr. Rajiv Sood's Bible of how you can ask the very first question. And it's simply like, you have a contact center. And then they sometimes say, we're not a contact center. I don't know what you mean. Like, I don't need that. Because there is an assumption that maybe they think about it as just, people in cubicles with headphones on. But the truth of the matter is this. It's simply these questions. Do you have a team of employees that take inbound calls or make outbound calls? Yes? Okay. Do you have a team of employees that answer emails, chats, or text messages from customers? Okay, check. Right. And then lastly, to segue into it, do you have a digital transformation program underway? Or can I suggest that for you? So, three major ways to initiate whether or not contact as a service is a need. And I'll tell you right now, it is always a need because they're not aware. And that's the one thing that really blew my mind when I came over from the contact center world, dealing with what we are dealing with, into the technology world and listening to all of this technology all over the place and wondering, why didn't anybody beat down our door telling us you can save this much money? This technology can do this for you. And until we were shopping for it, no one beat down our door. So again, looking at it from this point of view, understanding from that point of view is a big factor. So now knowing the problem that we have, and I'm gonna extend it out to one more kind of underway of understanding it. And I always use this analogy, and Reggie's probably sick of it, but the idea is if I had a business on the side of a mountain, that's my business, physical location, brick and mortar, welcome to Sarah's store. When I feel like you're going to do business with me is when you literally knock on my door and I open my door and we're doing business. But the problem with that is that's actually not where doing business with me starts. I'm on the side of a mountain. There is a journey to get to me that we're not really putting enough value on, right? That journey starts at the bottom of the hill, wherever they started from on the trail, whether there was a sign there or not, whether there were signs along the way, whether they knew that that was the trail to get to me, that is actually where that customer who's going to do business with me experience began. So that's the idea that we want to look into. That's how we want to get to that. One last look at sort of the statistic, because again, we're talking about the biggest effects of contact centers right now. And that's whether or not AI powered solutions are even going to be a good thing for it, or if it is a risk to take on, or what kind of matters from it. So this is actually also same review done by Gartner as our statistic in the beginning of it, is that what are the top priorities among organizations that are currently using or planning to use AI powered tools in their contact centers? And right here, these are some huge lofty numbers. For myself, like if this was our goals back before AI powered solutions, I would think, man, this is hard to hit. But again, this is already coming from people that have it in place or already have a roadmap by mapping out the possibility of putting it there. So 75% improving customer experience. So what we're talking about and all the problems that we have, AI tools have solves for it. And that still seems far away, right? So I'm still in the middle of the mountainside with my business. Someone says, hey, I have something to help you way down here. And I still can't visualize it because I really want to understand. You're saying I can have these kinds of numbers. What do you mean? So we're going to look at it again from that specific point of view. Where are these needs? How do I tell a client these are the needs, these are the why? So now we know the problem. Now we know we've got the need that's there. We know that the issue is consumers are or have higher expectations and their expectations are not being met. And what do we mean? So this is where we come into the same analogy that I'm bringing up, the digital doorstep. So the doorstep is not the doorstep of my business specifically. It is the doorstep of wherever they started. And that digital doorstep is from whatever device they're using, social channel, communication channel, that they decide to utilize to connect them to do business. And that digital doorstep sometimes is what's lacking, what's making the journey not possible for them. Yet out there right now, there are solutions for most of that channel or most of that happening. So again, back to the analogy, right? At the bottom of that trail, is there a sign that says Sarah's business is only about 600 steps away, or well, 60, let's say it's faster. And here's the sign. Maybe here's some water to take with you on your journey, or here's an umbrella in case there's weather. Just go along the way, and then there's another sign popping up. So is that doorstep met where they're coming in from? And am I taking care of that? So another way of looking at it is this is a kind of an image of a Harvard Business Review. They took consumers and they asked, when your needs need to be met, if you need something, how do you contact someone to do it? 19% said they seek a human agent assistance. They must talk to someone. Someone must be on the other end of the line. And on the flip side of that, 81% said they start with a digital first interaction, an entry point of their choosing. So that's Google or ChatGPT now, or that's the tutorial on YouTube that I followed that broke my washing machine. That is all of these different things that then kind of thrive on where we did our due diligence first, or where consumers are doing their due diligence first, or doing their find out first, or just even understanding what they're expecting by looking it up first before they then seek attention or assistance. And they might, again, get to a human led agent, or they might then they'll be stuck with the fact that 19% of it, or they're going to be taken care of by a bot or a self-service agent. Now this is true to the fact I have a 19-year-old, and she asked me the other day, well, I need to call her car insurance. She had literally had an anxiety panic attack. Like, what do I say? How do I talk to them? Couldn't I just text them? Can I just, like, why do I even need to call them on the phone? It doesn't even make any sense. What am I going to say? What are my words? And I was like, you use the same words. Hi, I'm calling about my insurance. It's broken. Can you fix it? I had to coach the whole way through, give her suggestions. She's freaking out. So again, this is the new. I'm not saying this is the generation that there is, and there might be ones out there that are starting businesses at 19. It's fine, but that is also the problem, that we are comfortable utilizing our self-service or these ways and trusting those ways to help us first. So our journey starts differently. So if this is really back to our analogy, we're now saying that, yes, Sarah, there's a trail to your business on the side of the mountain, but people are also parachuting in now. They're coming from the opposite side of the mountain, freestyling the hike. Some of them are just kind of like appearing out of nowhere because, Spock sent them down and just like poof, they're there. So now I have to worry about where all of these other people are arriving from, and whether or not their journey there was seamless and easy, and if it got them to the right place. So looking at it again, more depth about that point of view, more depth of understanding what exactly we're dealing with, and where the solutions you can suggest fall into place. Now, hopefully you've seen all of this that I'm talking about, and you're kind of, the wheels are turning, thinking, well, yeah, no, that makes sense. We can pop a solution in there for them. We could pop a solution right there for them. We can make it so that they can do this. And that's exactly what we want to think about. That if all the interactions from across the board factor into people trying to do business, that is that journey and that experience the right one, right? We're starting a new business, and I'm going to make my very first TikTok and be a TikTok market, and I'm going to socialize the crap out of my marketing. And it's like, great. But now I put myself out there, and now people are messaging on that app saying, my return is, I need to make a return. My item's broken. And now I have to field a transactional conversation into a resolution from a social network. So again, there's so many different angles we're realizing that we can have the solve for, that we can help them understand, that we can be that people that go to them and say, here's what you need. So now we're shifting gears. We now know the next level of depth. So we've now opened a series of landscape that's like, all right, I can buy that, I can do that, we can touch into that. That makes sense. We can help them go that route. And hopefully you're thinking that same thing, right? From the very first question of how we even find these customers down to like the specific gaps that are opening up, me seeing where these are. And that comes from a pre-discovery as well, right? We want to be able to look into these things and be able to say, all right, are they in place? Are they up to par? Is it easy? And you can do it for yourself. You can go into a client's website, see what their reviews are, see what their web traffic is like. There are literally tools and websites out there that help compare website traffic to one of your competitors, or vice versa, and see how many hits you get. What's your bounce rate? How long are they taking on the site? Where do you lose them? All these kind of good stuff that help realize, like, oh, there might needs to be a little solution right here that helps them kind of master that and keep it. Right? Is there messaging? Like when I message them, do I get an answer? Do I get sent to the right place? And is the website experience the same as the mobile experience and the same as the app that we just launched? Is all of that across the board doing the same thing or functioning in the right way? So you can see all the way down to even the chatbot to knowledge, and web self-service is probably your biggest key factor right now for introducing AI. is their knowledge base, and anything that's kind of there with the SharePoint, with content, with data and information, is it up to par? Because that's what fuels AI right now. So you can do this kind of investigative work, triage work, however way you say it, within multiple different kind of career like ways of excavating and looking and understanding what's going on with the customer in a big way, how to really know the customer and what they're dealing with, how to know where to angle the solutions that might be perfect to fit there, and really making it so that CX shines and that their experience is the thing that gets the most improvement. So this is an example of a website. I think it's called semrush.com, where you can compare websites across the board, and you can kind of see, what's going on as far as like these are comparing the knowledge bases and where their search options are, where their FAQ page is, giving a kind of understanding of the content easy to search. So again, a way to just really look at it, understand it. Now, nobody likes it when you call their baby ugly, but the idea is that we're supposed to be that trusted advisor that knows how to then help them fill those gaps or clean that up or make that process seamless. And again, open up some more avenues for the prospecting for you, for the ability to offer solutions, for the ability to have the right conversations that then tap it into it. And I'll give you kind of one story on how that affected me. So in a seat that I was in within a contact center, so I was able to kind of sit in all kinds of seats, starting from answering phone calls myself to management to knowledge management and officer to opening contact centers, operations. So across the board, I saw many different areas of how it moves and functions. And one of the areas that I sat in was knowledge officer and controlled all of our knowledge that was coming in for the company, internally and externally for customers. And so when looking at that in the peer view there, right, I was positioned with, hey, when we give you this technology, only one person needs to manage, man. You can minimize your team. And I'm thinking to myself, I've got 4 people managing it right now. I can't have I can't have it be gone, from my systems, or I can't just all of a sudden decrease my team in such a big way. And so I was one of those ones where I was fighting against it. Like, no, there has to be another option. Like, I can't then take this on, pay for it, and then that means that I have to relocate most of my team. And I didn't see the value in me having to make that effort. Then they pulled up the website and they showed me how most of my articles weren't redirecting to the website where they would do business, how my articles were factoring in some negative things and they weren't really answering questions and they were driving more contacts at the contact center. And that if I made these small changes, my ROI after taking on the technology would be in the millions. And I was like, are you serious? Really? And they were not wrong. Once we converted over and had once we converted it over and had all of that technology put into place, we saved over $2 million in our ROI in the following year, all because of this technology was built to move in the direction of knowing where the customer experience would drive the most business. And so that's, how we then know who's the right people to talk to, who do we understand, who helps us the most. So we've got a big list of buyer personas, and I know we only have 10 more minutes here, but this is kind of across the board where you're looking at. Maybe you guys are connected right now to the IT leaders or maybe the digital transformation leader on the technology side, and they're a key factor in it. But they're not necessarily the ones that have things that are on fire or bleeding or bad about their program. They're just worried about how the program fits the needs of what's going on. The ones that are worried about whether or not these technologies will really help what's going on is probably your from manager level to the operations leader, because they're seeing how they're always having to answer or cover for the things that are going wrong. They're seeing who's not or what's affecting the contact center in a big way and why they need a solution um in place and for that kind of idea there. So well, I can send you more, or in the information we're gonna send the end. There's more about who particularly and what questions to ask particularly. It breaks it down like this. where it'll tell you the pain points that they're realizing and some discovery questions, and what they might be most interested as far as a solution. And this kind of breaks it down from the idea of where these people sit within the typical titles under the experienced leader and why that would matter to them. Same across the board for digital transformation leader, right? There's a CIO, they're on the technology side, but they're a part of transitioning over the digital experience. And so they're worried about disruptions or what is a blocker, what's not moving in the right direction. So they're again a foot in the door to really help kind of move from that point. I know I'm going fast, but I wanted to end in one thing here, and that's really understanding how AI powered experiences can truly be built for customer service, for customer experience, that they should be purpose built for customer experience, that your workloads and the things that are bogging down should turn to workflows, and that there should be automation that comes up from AI telling you this can be automated. To agents, having the virtual AI-led agent and the human agent being the same level, same kind of conversations, and assisting and coordinating together as much as possible. The AI assisting the human agent and the human agent continuing to take over from the AI agent, needing it to be kind of where they have empowered. And then knowledge being the key factor helping AI move in the direction that it is. So we have a bunch of case studies that we're going to share. They range from small business to enterprise level. It does show you based on the vertical what percentages or what improvement you can see. So across all these different verticals listed here, from financial services, higher net promoting score, to healthcare seeing an average handle time. That's another one. Every minute of every second, based off of what technology is involved and the routing involved, cost for a contact center, a contact or a call. If the handle time is reduced even by minutes, it's almost without doubt in the thousands to $1 million savings. Most time $1 million savings. I was in a very mid-sized level contact center, and our average handle time increased by 1 minute and 30 seconds, and we saved close to $1.5 million just on that alone. So again, that's really showing how AI platform or AI powered solutions can move within every single vertical and allow for really good technology to take place and take ownership there. But I wanted to leave with one last thing, and I'm going to send this information, but knowing that all the things that we talked about is that we have produced an AI value calculator. If you hold your phone up to this QR code, you're going to be directed right to the NICE website where you can put in your client's information. You can put in details about maybe what their budget is, what they're doing, what size is their contact center, simple information like this. And it will spit out in a ROI calculator or calculated estimate based off of whether AI can assist them to allow them even more value back for taking on AI. So if they're hesitant about AI, this is the perfect tool to use. Let them understand. We put this in the hands of what partners, because trusted advisors like yourselves are the ones that's going to make that key difference, a key factor. And I know that was quick, not a lot of time. As you can see, there's so much to talk about. I'm going to bounce it right back to Rajiv to give you more insight about how to get connected with him and get more information.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah. Tremendous content, great nuggets, tremendous intel. So thank you for that. Questions, guys. I know we got maybe 4 or 5 minutes left. Comments, questions. If there's one thing to take away from today's session, it is to add those 2 simple questions into your arsenal. And just to reiterate, those questions are: do you have a team of employees that make outbound or field inbound calls, chats, emails, or texts? Do you have a digital transformation project coming on? If you get yeses, the very next statement should be, hey, I got a guy. Let me bring in my team. So definitely add those 2 questions into every customer meeting that you have. And I guarantee you within the next 60 to 90 days, you will have a contact center opportunity just by asking those questions, because they all have an internal IT help desk. So just keep those wheels turning. Questions, comments?
Yes, we do have a couple questions. The first one is, with the healthcare example, can you give a few examples of the 11 vendors that were eliminated?
Sarah, you want to take that for Marriott?
Well, I don't know. It might have been within their contact or their case study that they revealed what vendors were in place. But I know that I can tell you the biggest thing was that they had something for, of course, the voice system. They had something that managed all the SMS coming down, and then they also had um different things for supervisor tools to log in and find information for different um for different types of programs that they had in place for the Marriott. I'll try and find to see if they. I mean, I don't think that we did not share. It should be, public information. But what it was they continued to be siloed, and so some of their contact centers function differently than some of their centers globally. They just went off of what was the best that they could do in that contact center. So they weren't connected. They were not functioning all the same on the same way. And so this really connected them all in one way. They can see notations from everybody across the board, but I think they had different systems for their CRM, all kinds of stuff. So I'll find out specifically if we name it. But for the most part, I know that that's how much it took for them to function as a huge hospitality vendor, just so that their agents could field SMS and website inquiries, and kind of moving in there. And right now, Marriott has some very easy systems. Like today, I'm staying in the Marriott, and I checked in on the Digital's app, messaged them when I needed something on my phone, and everything was connected really easily. And so I, even knowing that they take on nice, is testing them every single day that I'm staying in a hotel, and just really looking at whether the technology matches or the chat matches. And it's been so easy. I've lost my hotel card 3 times at the pool, and it doesn't matter because I always keep my phone and it's right there. So that's normal stuff, but it's made easier, made more efficient. I got notification when my room was ready. It was solid. So anyway, I'll find out the name and see if we advertise it.
And real quick to kind of piggyback off of that, I know there's 3 or 4 other questions that came in. Oftentimes, when you work with customers that have coming from an on-prem contact center moving to a cloud, that's when you're really going to see the consolidation happen. Because a lot of times, an on-prem system, a Cisco, an Avaya, Mitel, Genesys on-prem, they're going to have a login and a system for the dialer. They're going to have a separate login and system for quality management and workforce management. They're going to have to log into their CRM. It may not screen pop into it. They're going to be separate logins for reporting capabilities. So especially in the on-prem environment, moving to cloud, that's where you're really, really going to see the consolidation happen. Not to sit there and say that a company that has a cloud provider today and moving to a different cloud provider won't have that situation, because you will see that as well. But more oftentimes than not, you'll see that on the on-prem to cloud migration.
Okay, our next. Oh, I'm sorry. Are you ready for the next question?
Yep, I was going to read them off, but you got it. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. I know. Go ahead. You can read them.
All right. So next one is what is the budget expectation to formally add a contact center solution? That's a great question. And there's various ways to skin that cat. You can oftentimes price flinch a customer to see if they're really looking at a true CX, a true contact center solution, by price flinching them. And the way that you can do that is say, yeah, a typical seat like this will cost anywhere from 90 to 150 bucks, right? And if their eyes get sticker shock, you know that they may not be really ready for that true transformation. Because contact center companies who are looking to have a true revamp in their CX, they expect to pay anywhere from, call it, $80 to $150 per seat. The reason that range is so big is because you can layer in tons of AI. You can layer in tons of features like quality management, workforce management. So there's a lot of things that you can add into it. If a customer is just looking for basic dialer, screen pops into their CRM and integrations, etc., you could probably get away with the $80 to $100 range. So next question, what special sauce does NICE have that other competitors don't, that makes NICE stand out? Phenomenal question. I wish I had another 30 minutes to talk into it. But I will boil it down into three bullet points, okay? And I've been at other organizations and other competitors. So the 3 bullet points that I would really boil this down to, the first one is being our AI strategy. And I know those are the 2 most abused letters in the alphabet. I get it. But our AI strategy is very unique. and the fact that we have over a third of our employees, over 3,000 employees that are dedicated. Oh, you can see it here. Great segue, Sarah. That are dedicated specifically to R&D for AI. We invest over $400 million annually into it. And I think Sarah mentioned earlier that there's 2 new AI products that we have launched within the last few weeks. One being for supervisors, and the other one being for admins, I believe, right, Sarah?
And analytics, yep.
Analytics.
So right now we're the only ones in the industry that do have an AI solution for analytics. It's called Actions, and CX1 Action, as well as for a dashboard for supervisors. The same way the dashboard helps the agents, we have one that is mindful of all the supervisor needs as well and functions the same way. So those are the 2 right now in the market that we stand out the most. We have every other one as well for the agent, for the consumer, all across the board. But those are the ones that right now NICE has a competitive edge for.
So the first one is being our AI strategy. The second one is going to be our CSAT score, our customer retention rate. Our customer retention rate is in the mid to high 90s. Why is that important to you and to your customers? Because you can rest confident that pre-sales, post-sales, during sales, that whole process and methodology, we're going to take care of you and your customer. It's a sticky solution. They don't leave. Customers buy NICE and they stay and they renew and they upsell. So the customer retention rate is the second bullet point. And the third differentiator is going to be a little bit along the lines of that, but it's our execution for implementation. So the methodology we have by actually executing the integrations, implementing the solution, taking a crawl, walk, run approach with the customer, it is by far superior than anything I've ever seen. And that parlays back into the customer retention rate. So to answer the question, our AI strategy, our customer retention rate, and our ability to execute. Next question. What is the typical sales cycles for 100+ contact center? To sell it, to implement it? Great question. Obviously, there's a lot of ways to skin that cat as well, but I'll put it in a very general term, okay? And let's say the customer has an immediate need. I actually had a deal in February that was for 50 agents that sold in 4 weeks. That's far and few between, right? There was an immediate need. Taking a very broad approach, we love to take a crawl, walk, run approach with the customer. So phase 1, phase 2, phase 5, whatever. A lot of times customers will sign on with us and look to do everything with us to consolidate the siloed Frankenstack environment and all the other things we've already talked about. But just to bring over the dialer and to quote unquote get started, we can have that done in 4 to 6 weeks. And that's from contract signing to getting a PS team assembled and getting the dialer installed and implemented and trained and having the team trained, 4 to 6 weeks. Now, when you layer in other things like quality management, workforce management, AI, obviously the implementation and sales process can be extended. So great question. We like to have, let you guys ride shotgun with us during the sales process. I see Greg on. Greg Stiff, we've got a couple of opportunities going with him, as well as Barry. They're riding shotgun with us and essentially can attest to the sales process where we will do discovery. I know you guys do your own discovery, but we can come back and do a further discovery call with the customer and really hone in on their use cases and their integrations and their CRMs and ticketing systems so that when we come back and do a 90-minute demo, that's a very tailored, specific demonstration of the portal and platform to their specific use cases and their specific CRMs and needs. So here to run that sales process alongside with you all.